Hi everyone, I'm Dave Giancola, joined again by Mike Trossel for another U.S. Open Classic finish. The year is 1998 and the 53rd edition of the U.S. Women's Open was played at Black Wolf Run in Kohler, Wisconsin.
Now Dave, Se-Ri Pak led the championship through 54 holes as she attempted to become the first South Korean to win the U.S. Women's Open in the championship's history. She appeared to have won in regulation until amateur Jenny Shasiraporn drained a 40-foot birdie putt on the 72nd hole to force an 18-hole playoff.
And Se-Ri Pak trailed by 4 strokes through 5 holes, but had reduced the deficit to 2 as the players made the turn. We pick up the playoff on the 11th hole.
It's got to go. Oh, it did. It got over that hill. That is outstanding.
That brings a shriek from the gallery.
Yeah, the gallery, as I said earlier, that are almost all amateurs, they got to be almost like fantasizing of thinking, gee, that's unbelievable. An amateur winning.
Well, here's the reaction from Jenny. Let's see what this putt produces.
It was going right. It looked short there, but like Roger said, it almost like it got a little help from above or something. It got pushed along a little longer than it appeared.
Speaking of crowd support, I thought it was interesting, David Fay, what you were talking about earlier was that we mentioned that Barbara McIntyre, as an amateur, was in a playoff, the only other amateur to participate in a Women's Open playoff in history. At that point, she was not exactly getting cheered on by any of the gallery.
That's right. She said, in fact, there was a feeling that the professionals really did not want to see an amateur win, and there were some hard feelings, really.
Well, this is Se-Ri Pak.
Roger, if she's going to win this championship, she can't keep passing up these opportunities. She hasn't made one yet.
It's a big opportunity straight downhill, John, very fast. This kid started on the right line.
There it is. The first birdie of the day for Se-Ri Pak at the 11th.
Well, there's a little bit of a smile. That's
About as close as you get.
Yeah, she was due, Roger. You know she had to make some putts to get in this position. Pak did, and that was a big one.
So the two-shot lead has been trimmed to just 1 after the birdie by Pak. And this just got in, Johnny.
Good putt on the high side. It was, you're right. It only went in by probably 1/100 of an inch.
To the 12th, the par 4.
12th hole is a good par 4, 410 yards. I really like this hole. That it's got trees on the right that if you push it, come into play and really block you out. You drive it right here just before this bunker. Leaves about a mid-iron into the second shot. Look at how long the bunker is on the right and the hills on the left where the gallery stand. And it's a nice opening here that you can run it on. You can chase it on if you want to, if it's windy. And it's sort of banana-shaped green to the right. It sets up nicely for a fade. And you can see the whole location today, perfect for Pak. The last green also set up for fade, which Pak did birdie. It's another Pak type of a hole for her fade. So advantage with her length and the shot that she shapes right here.
And on the tee with the honor is Se-Ri Pak.
And Roger, really this stretch of holes is really a key stretch for a person that fades it. 11 into the green is a faders hole, 12's a faders hole, 13's a faders hole, 14's a faders hole. So you have some 4 straight key holes that someone who can hit a high soft fade's got a big advantage.
Thank you.
So see if the driving excellent C keeps continuing here. Hitting it right down the left side. You want to hit it right there with a little bit of a power fade. Shape it right into this area. That dead tree on the right can't come into play.
Going down the left center, John. This should be very good.
Not going to hurt you.
Not going to hurt you. No fooling him.
All right.
Very vocal caddy, Jeff Cable is. Caddied for Se-Ri for the first time in last year's U.S. Women's Open Championship. That was the very first U.S. Women's Open that Se-Ri Pak ever played in, and so that's another common trait shared by these golfers. This is just the second. Also for Jenny Shasiraporn.
Blocked it out on the last hole to the right. Make sure she makes a good solid release down at the bottom.
The shot much lower, but going down the center of the fairway.
There's a big hop to the right. Good shot.
7 holes left in this 18-hole playoff. The lead is now by a single shot. Jenny Shasiraporn trying to hang on. Pat Bradley has won 6 major championships, but the crowning achievement of her career, winning the 1981 U.S. Women's Open. Bradley's total of 9 under par at that time was the lowest in the history of the championship. And at age 47 in this championship, Pat Bradley got off to a good start. Made some noises of staying in contention, but again, Pat Bradley, Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever play the game, and USGA President Buzz Taylor roaming the fairways here at Black Wolf Run Golf Course. And that is Judy Oliver, member of the Women's Committee. And again, a look from behind the par 4 12th. One of those huge, characteristic mammoth bunkers, thanks to Pete Dye.
Of course, it was designed in 1988 to rave reviews.
In a short time, Johnny, it's turned into one of the best golf resorts in the entire world. Well, Roger Mowbray, let's get an update of what they face out there.
Jenny Shasiraporn has 181 yards to hole, and certainly the tougher of the two angles with the bunker fronting and to the right of the green. A hole cut behind that, so a difficult shot to get near the hole, I would think, has to be looking left. On Se-Ri Pak further left in the fairway has a much better angle in at this hole, and of course, as you mentioned earlier, John, her pet shot shape is from left to right, which makes it that much better yet.
This is a dangerous exchange right here, I believe. If she tries to get too cute here and hit it in that right bunker, Pak could very well birdie this hole. So she needs to get the ball on the green, aim it right there. Forget the hole location.
This hit very solid, just left of the hole.
Perfect shot.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That's about as far right as she could expect to play it, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and that hit very close to the precipice for going down into the bunker, landing and going straight away.
And this is a deep bunker here, and watch where it lands. It just makes it by literally one mower cut.
Pak is next.
Now this from 178 yards.
Hole location right there, and the drop off is right in front of it.
That's a 5-iron. This shot left of the hole, really not cutting much. Oh, gets a good little kick to the right. What a shot.
Great kick. And Pak, who is coming off a lone birdie of the day at 11, in line for yet another one at 12. The lead is 1. Se-Ri Pak smiling her way up the fairway after that approach.
Dreadful, so this is a good one.
Se-Ri Pak from South Korea, Jenny Shasiraporn's parents, both from Thailand, and Jenny's name in Thai is Wanali, and when asked, Jenny said, I think it means deep forest, something forest, or maybe it just means stay out of the woods.
In golfing terms. Huh?
And she has stayed out of the woods for the most part today, enjoying a one-shot lead.
Well, I'll tell you, on this tough uphill 410-yard par 4 with a very difficult right hole location next to the bunker, those 2 shots were awfully good, Roger.
2 outstanding shots, John, and Jenny Sherporn will be away slightly. This from about 25 feet coming back downhill. Try to move a little bit from her right to left. But, both players have played very solid golf today. Sometimes you wonder going into these playoffs what you might see, you know, if you get 2 nervous players and some erratic golf. But at this point, I think both players have acquitted themselves very, very well.
See Joey again helping her line up the putts. That relationship goes way back from a golfing perspective. Jenny said that she remembers as long as they started first walking, playing golf, she and Joey growing up.
And she will not putt this putt till Joey comes back and gives her the green light on what they decide.
And again, there is Mr. Shasiraporn, Paul, and her 10-year-old younger brother, Jimmy.
And Paul is a real avid golfer, 13, 14 handicapper, so he'd play golf all day if it didn't have to work at the restaurant.
Jenny and her 2 brothers lived up above the restaurant Bangkok Palace in Baltimore for many, many years. They've since bought a house. This for birdie.
Cozy it down there. If it wants to fall in, that's fine. Good speed, Roger.
Good pace. You're right. 2 putts from there, not bad at all.
Cozies that up. That is 3 straight pars by Shasiraporn. Again, 3 under after her first 5 holes, plus 4 the last 7 holes. And now Se-Ri Pak looking for her 2nd birdie in a row, and this to tie.
And this right where you want to putt from, John. This back uphill slightly from this angle. Pretty level, really, but not much break at all on this putt.
I thought the putt she made at 10 was really important for what transpired on 11. And the combination of that saving putt at 10, the birdie putt at 11, she's got some momentum right now. She's feeling a little bit better about her putter. She broke the ice on not making anything of note. And so this is a putt that could very well go right in the center. Make things both even, I mean level as far as 1 over par each.
There it is. Tied at +1 through 12 holes. 6 left to decide the Women's Open champion.
Well, 2 20-year-olds, deadlocked, 6 holes to go, like you say.
And why would we expect anything less after the week we've witnessed?
First time they've been tied since they teed off at 1.
And there is the green at 13 with that water, Johnny, all along the right side, the par 3. And we took a look at 2 previous aces made on the 8th hole, turned in by Helen Alpertson and Clarissa Childs. This was Brandy Burton on Saturday on this 13th. And for the first time in Women's Open history, 3 aces in the same Open. Today, the yardage 139.
You can see this hole, just like I said, there's 4 holes in a row that favor Pak, and the reason why this favors her, if she can play a little shot out here to fade and just work it right into the hole, that's the safest way to keep the water out of play, versus a person that draws the ball. If they want to go at the hole placement, they got to put it right down the rocks and hope it comes back.
Well, Roger, have you sensed any kind of communication between the 2 today?
None.
None.
None. I don't think Se-Ri is very chatty on the golf course. Very, very quiet. And the conversations that have taken place have been between Se-Ri and her caddy and Jenny and her caddy.
This is a dangerous hole, and with this being metal play, stroke play, You don't want some large exchange now that they're tied. So it's pretty prudent to get it on the fairway and on greens, and see how she's played this hole.
Bogeyed it twice, 3-putted it, Johnny, each time.
Yeah, well, this is real past history now. Not much movement on that lake, huh, Roger?
Pretty still here right now, John. The flag is moving a little bit back toward the players, but it's very slight.
What club do you think?
Say an 8-iron for Sayre. May not get it all the way back to the hole, but I think something, you want to make an aggressive swing here. You don't want to try to make a half swing, come out of it a little earlier, or ease up into impact with that water on the right. You want to make a good aggressive swing here.
Setting up about 10 feet left of the hole.
This ball starts at the hole, is turning slightly left of it.
Solid shot. She's been at the top of the leaderboard or near it the entire championship, tied for 3rd after the first round, but since then has held or had a share of the lead in each of the rounds. And there's been times when she could have been in or out of the lead, fallen off of it, but has hung on. And certainly there were times today when it looked like she might fall way back.
This is an 8-iron for Jenny as well. This shot started just right of the hole and staying there. It's a good-looking shot.
Ooh, that's where you want to putt from. That's a very good angle to putt from. That's a definite birdie opportunity.
Gutsy tee shot by Shasiraporn right of the flagstick with that water lurking. Well, all of a sudden, Sayre Pak's putter has heated up. This for birdie at the 11th, the par 4.
She's got it well outside the hole. It's coming back and goes in the top left.
And then at the next hole, another par 4, the 12th.
Perfect touch here, good stroke. She releases that toe of the putter properly. She's not undercutting it with that heel anymore.
She trailed by just 4, 7 holes ago, now tied.
Her confidence is up, so she's a tough player, and Jenny's more instinctive and natural kind of player. And it's a pretty good contrast between the two styles.
Carefree amateur and Sayre Pak, who travels with a manager, has a large financial sponsor, somewhat of a different entourage than her playing competitor today, Shasiraporn. Well thought out professional career for Pak.
I think a very important exchange right here, Roger. You know, had 2 holes in a row that have gone, of course, in Pak's favor with birdies. And this one right here is either going to continue that trend or turn it around.
Well, certainly of the 2 putts, Jenny Shasiraporn's is the easiest of the 2. As you said, putting right from where you want to putt from underneath the hole, maybe a slight break right to left, but very little break.
Are they both about 15 feet?
Sayre Pak about 15 feet. Jenny just a little bit longer, maybe 17, 18 feet.
See Joey there, her brother, getting down very low, which is advantageous to see the line on these subtle greens with all these little different movements in them. And bird's eye view, or bug's eye view, is a good one.
He is low, isn't he?
Yeah. Normally can't get down that low, but she needs to put the hammer down here, Roger.
Man, this is the one to be aggressive with, John. Nothing to be afraid of here. I don't believe you can trigger this one too far past the hole.
She's looking a little left.
I don't think it does much, John.
Her eyes are appearing to look slightly left. Now she's looking more at it. it straight in and it did go left. Not real thrilled with that one. You can tell by her little 20-year-old expression.
That was a green light putt. Putt now of Sayri Pak's downhill slightly and about 15 feet in length, but it will move right as it loses speed.
If she gets it, this would be her first lead of this 18-hole playoff.
And believe it or not, you can feel these little, when the power shifts and the momentum, you can feel the inside your countenance, you can feel that you're sort of moving into a dominant stage of the match or whatever, and you really do work off of it. And right now Jenny's more in a questionable state, and Sayri is feeling pretty good, I think, thinking about probably making a three in a row special here.
Yeah, her tee to green game's just been so solid, and you can see that strength is starting to have its effect.
And she's not having that heel beat the toe now, Roger. It seems the last few putts have all been good and solid and square.
Easy tap in for Sayri, remains at +1. Shasira pouring that short par putt to remain tied.
Yeah, a little breathing room there with it coming up short.
So 5 holes left.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting to me. I don't know about you.
It's been this way the entire week. When we left the golf course yesterday, it really didn't have a chance to sink in. Now as they go to the par 4 14th, interesting hole, Johnny, a short one, just 310.
It is, and you can see it favors a left to right tee shot. A tee shot that would work like this if you can. If you play a draw, you got to go over an awful lot of water, but the perfect tee shot is right in here. That leaves just a 9-iron or wedge. And this, you can see the green, the water is right there. There's primary cut rough behind the green that really comes into play. And this hole, the hole location's right in the front middle. So you can see it right there, brings the water more into play, and that bunker's really into play with that front middle location. And you can see the lake is darn near still. Half of this lake looks like you want to go water skiing.
That sport the farthest thing from the minds of these two at the moment. Sayri Pak.
Nice thing Pete Dye did on this golf course, put a lot of diagonals, and one thing if you study golf course architecture, there are almost no great straight holes. The great holes have all got movement to them. You're hitting to a fairway that sits one way or the other, and it makes you have to shape the shot. And if you don't have that shot, then you pay the price. It makes it much more difficult, makes it very uncomfortable. So
birdie the last 2 days, this 14th.
I don't think anywhere in her mind, Roger, that she was thinking of coming up short on that putt on the last hole after birdieing the 2 previous holes.
No, and while it was downhill and she needed to be careful, it really wasn't fast enough to frighten you off. But you know, sometimes you can just get grinding a little too hard on the line, and I think that's probably what happened to her there.
One thing, you know, when you're down, it happens in all sports. When you're down a whole game and you finally get back to even, battle your way back, you'll see many times the player that was originally ahead or the team that was originally ahead will almost always win. It's sort of a natural letdown when you get back to even after being down all day to have a letdown, and she's got to be very careful right here. Going with a long iron. What is this, Rob?
Got a 3-iron here, John.
Setting up well over here with that iron.
This shot going down the right center, and that is ideal. Have a good look in at the hole from there.
Jenny has never trailed in this confrontation here. Got one up right off the get-go, and at one point had a 4-shot lead, 5, and then now, of course, back to even.
Tripled that 6, Johnny. Has played +1 golf since then, but I would say that's righting yourself after a triple.
Dangerous shot.
Going with the 5-wood here.
Somehow have to hit it in between these and right in that area there. Going left, Roger, is all right.
This ball is going left, John.
Oh, I got a good hop.
Got a good hop. It better come off of that hill or it's going to be a very awkward stance. It'll come back down and most likely be a blind shot.
Roger, it hit right into the bank on that intermediate cut. Did take a hop down and trickled down to a flatter surface. What an 18-hole playoff developing here. Back in a moment. That is the leaderboard. Through 13 holes, Shasira Porn and Pak tied at +1. They're playing the easiest hole this championship week, the short par 4 14th. Who's first to play, Roger?
Jenny Shashiraporn, and she'll have an awkward stance. Uphill lie, ball below her feet, and a blind shot. She will see about the top third of the flagstick, but that's all. This shot coming downwind, and hole only cut on the green 9 paces and running away from her. So this is a very awkward shot, John. Not easy to get this close.
It is, except for the little uphill lie will help coming in probably 20% higher than normal, so might make it come down softer. Bunker in the front left is in play from this angle. If she were to choose to play a little safe left.
Sounded very solid. Really, that's not bad at all from there.
Let's take a look at that lie she had to negotiate. She says that's not bad. You can see how much her forward foot is ahead of the, above the right foot. Beautiful action there. See how no flipping at impact. Solid as can be. Good shot. Look at the Swans. They're checking it out too.
They don't call it Swan Lake for nothing.
Seeing very graceful swings, almost as graceful as us.
It's a solid sand iron from 86 yards. Want it down. Looks pretty good from here.
It does get down.
Perfect putt at it.
2 birdies in the last 3 holes, a chance for a 3rd one in her last 4. And we mentioned how she has produced 2 birdies in the last 2 days here on this 14th, and here they are. This one in the 3rd round on Saturday, drifting down.
Double breaker, right in the heart.
Followed that up with another one yesterday. And in line for another one here in this playoff. And again, has never had the lead in this 18-hole playoff. Shasiraporn got out to a very, very quick start. 3 birdies in the first 5 holes. That helped produce a 4-shot lead and held the lead until Pak birdied 11 and 12, and that tied her at +1.
Well, you got to give Pak a lot of credit, really, with the scintillating start, really, that Jenny had. Some players might have just said, well, I guess it's not my day. I guess I'm out of here.
Well, it's indicative of the focus we've talked about with her. Just nothing phases her. In fact, I believe it was Lisa Lott Neumann who said, I've played with a lot of players, but I have never seen as much concentrated focus and great nerves from a player than Sayri Pak. That includes anybody she's ever played with.
You can look at her face. It's just all business. And she's put herself in perfect shape to make birdie here. And that'd be 3 birdies in 4 holes. And this, if I was Jenny, I would give us some serious effort to try to stem the tide, Roger.
Well, this putt will move a little bit from left to right, John. Doesn't do a lot. But I agree with you. This is turning the other way. I think Jenny needs to do something resounding to maybe stem the tide.
There is Jenny's father, Paul. He has watched her all week long.
A lot of people pulling for this amateur to do this historic effort.
This for her first birdie since the 5th hole. She has a great stroke. Hit it. Dad thought it had a good chance. Tap in par for Jenny. Remains at +1. And now Pop again will have a chance to take the lead for the first time. Not quite.
It was a good putt. It's a little slower putting. Everything's drains towards the lake, and that's a little into the grain. So this putt here, right up the draw, Roger?
Right up the draw, John. Center cut. Just go ahead and hit it firm.
And for the first time, Sayri Pak has the lead in this playoff.
Well, that was perfectly played there. Great iron off the tee. Perfect approach shot underneath the hole and right in the hard putt.
Well, a look at the front 9 and back 9. The scores: Pak +3 on the front 9, 3 under on the back 9. The 2 birdies there, 11, 12, and then again at 14. And all pars by Shasiraporn on this back 9, and has lost the lead as we head to the 15th.
Well, let's take a look at this 15th hole at 350 yards. Not a real long hole, but this bunker on the left is really in play, and it's quite deep, and you can't see the green from there. And then, of course, down the right is where you want to hit it with a draw into this area here, and you can see the green from there. If you hit it to the right, you are blind. And so you do want to keep it down the left side and challenge that left bunker. And then, of course, this bunker down by the green, again, really in play. No doubt about that. And the whole location is 17 yards on and cut a little bit over on the right side, as you can see. So it's accessible, and it can be birdied with a good drive. It's a birdie hole today with no wind.
Sayri Pak coming off her 3rd birdie in the last 4 holes with the honor. She's shown she can take the lead and hold the lead. She has yet to miss a fairway today. She got her first major championship win earlier this year in May, led from wire to wire, became the first LPGA rookie to win a major since Lisa Lott Neumann captured the '88 Women's Open. This is familiar territory for her, even though she is just 20.
She's so accurate off the tee. She actually hit it down the left side on number 12, and her caddy said, "Oh, well, it's okay, you know. That's too bad, but it's okay." I mean, literally, she is putting it into spots, like a Ben Hogan type accuracy. That one didn't sound as good, but
This one's going left. First fairway miss right in the big bunker.
that was, you could hear it from the sound. It was like a slap hook. Not the same crisp hit. And that big opening right here, Roger. You don't expect that with that big wide fairway for her.
A surprising place to miss. You're right. And that a very deep bunker, John. That will really be a tough second.
Well, the problem is the sand is just soft enough that the ball's going down, you know, about a quarter of an inch, and so it's very difficult to get a clean hit out of it. And you usually hit it fat. And we saw that Jenny yesterday did just that. Went into the left bunker, got that muffy lie, and chunked it short, and then went over the green, made a good saving 5.
Tee shot going right down the left center of the fairway. That will be ideal.
What more can we expect? Twists and turns continue all week long in this championship, and again today in this playoff. Pak with a lead for the moment. That is the bunker.
And that is the
At
ball.
the par 4 15th.
And that is a good lie. For these bunkers, that rolled right up into a little high spot. And you can see the difference yesterday. Jenny had a different kind of lie, was sitting down a little bit, tried to go for it, but hit it heavily, actually in a good spot, but she was right in between clubs and went with the longer club and blew it over the green and made a good pitch. But a lot of difference between where her ball, how it was sitting and how this ball is sitting by Siri.
Well, Johnny, she has 133 yards to the hole. And really, as deep as this bunker is, I don't believe the slope in front of her will be a problem to carry with an 8 or a 7 iron, which is, I imagine, what she'll go with. Wind back into her face slightly. But she will not be able to see any part of the green or any of the horizon in the background. Maybe some trees, the very tops of them on the hillside behind the green, but this blind shot.
Well, there is an opening here, but the thing is you can't hit it low enough from there to take advantage of it, can you?
No, not really. You can't.
So anything could happen here. You could see her hitting it very heavy from here and coming up way short, like Jenny did yesterday, but it is a good lie. She could take advantage of this good break.
Well, there is Se-Ri Pak's father, Jun Chul, CEO of a construction company in South Korea, often is seen at many of Se-Ri's big tournaments and championships.
And make no mistake about it, Roger, that's the best lie I've seen in a bunker this week.
Pretty fortunate.
Especially with the track behind it, which also knocks sand down.
Made very good contact. This ball going at the left center of the green.
Not bad at all. It's hung on that right foot a lot, and I think that's what made it go left. But let's take a look at the foot action. They were so still that I think that's the reason why she pulled it. She never really got off that right foot. Watch this coming down. Watch how when she finishes, how she's got so much weight still on that back foot instead of releasing that that heel the way she normally does. What a good shot.
Now Jenny Shasiraporn.
117 to the hole. Wind slightly back in her face. This is the time to hit one close and put some pressure on right now. And she's thinned it. She's come off it a little bit to the right.
Pretty good.
Got a good little hop off that hill, though. Not bad.
Almost drifts the hole high, Roger.
Well, Se-Ri Pak, a huge star and her native of South Korea. In fact, the biggest hero her country cheers on today. And we asked Se-Ri about how a victory could help bolster South Korean pride at a time when that country is really going through some tough economic times.
I don't know. Everybody know Korea now is difficult, like now, like economy like this. So maybe I win this tournament. Then maybe Korean people more happy. Then I can make them more powerfully, more happy. Then more my Koreans more open. But maybe that is maybe big things, maybe big change.
You talk about performing in a microscope, just a flood of media following Se-Ri Pak, not just at this championship, but everywhere, and they're just in tow along Dad there, taking a seat now just in front of the ropes. Se-Ri Pak really doesn't realize how big a star she is back in South Korea because she hasn't been home since she came over here. She knows she's a big star, but she hasn't been home since to see it in person.
The only other athlete who rivals her fame in Korea is Dodgers pitcher Chan Ho Park, and so that's quite a responsibility, almost a nationalistic responsibility you take when you go overseas and go into the big leagues and represent your country.
Well, this is airing live back in Korea.
You see that ball sitting up again.
And there's her father. Got her started in the game of golf, and even though David Ledbetter has worked with her a lot, she says, no one knows my game of golf better than Dad. In fact, when she had some putting problems earlier in this championship, he worked with her.
Well, she's got her work cut out for her here, Roger. Some humps and bumps.
Some humps and bumps is right, but as you said, Johnny, a very good lie, and just got into the intermediate cut of rough, so electing to use a putter. She doesn't have but an inch or two to get out of the intermediate cut, but it is downhill. There's a couple of little muffins in the green that will affect this putt. Should move a little bit from right to left. Tough to judge the speed, though, coming out of this rough.
She turned pro right after high school, 18, and won her first event against the pros as an amateur. So she knows how to do it. Did she hit that solidly, Roger?
She did, and that better slow up a little bit. That gets on by a good 6.5 feet. Big opening for Shashiraporn now.
Could be, Roger, a two-shot swing, perhaps.
Could be. This putt of Jenny's will move from left to right about 15 feet in length. Got a very fortunate hop off that hill on the right side of this green. Iron shot not hit well. Just very makeable. Got to get it to hole. Maybe 3 inches off the left side of the hole or so, 3-4 inches.
She's sort of done what she should have done, don't you think, Roger? Jenny was strokes up after 9 holes, and really pars should have been wonderful at that stage, and she's parred 5 straight holes, and fortunately, Sari has birdied 3 out of 4 holes, and so you can't really fault Jenny for her play.
Yeah, this putt would be huge for Jenny.
Got a little bit coming back for her par. Schilmark and Sari will putt first for her par.
I'm not so sure, John, that I wouldn't have elected to putt that out. At this stage, you are getting very close to a match play situation. I might like to have my 4 in the hole and have Sari Pak understand that she would have to make this to maintain her lead.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy either way. My old thinking is sort of like an old card shark's thinking is you never expose your hand first.
This putt now should move just slightly to the right. Not much, though.
Her caddy, Jeff Cable, also has talked about all week long about the incredible focus and the incredible intensity that Pak brings to not just the tournaments, but the big events. Trying to save this for a par. Pak bogeys, falls back to +1. So Jenny will have this putt to remain tied for the moment. +1 with 3 holes left
For the national championship.
Let's go to the 16th, a long par 5, 540 yards.
It's a good par 5, a long one, and this bunker on the left is in play. And you got to be real careful if you're worried about that bunker and that ledge that exposes itself. These trees on the right are a big issue. And then on the second shot, most players, everybody I've seen has laid it up really between the shaded trees here. And this tree right here is 50 yards from the green, so if you're going to lay it up, get it behind it enough that it doesn't block you out or keep it to the right. And then the whole location today is 25 yards on, or 28 yards on and to the left side, as you can see, and that brings the water a little bit into play if you get out of position in your second shot. So it's a very strong par 5, and it'll be interesting to see how the nerves are coming out right now. Just 3 holes to go. This is great stuff.
Great stuff. One of the more picturesque holes here at Pete Dye's Black Wolf Run Golf Course. That fairway meandering, snaking back up to the tee box.
And it is very narrow. It's one of the few fairways that's quite wide up here on top. Very wide, but as it throats down, it gets real narrow right in here. And it funnels down through the trees.
Well, neither one of these players have had a birdie at it, Johnny, but all of them pars by Shasiroporn and Pak as the South Korean flag continues to wave in the gallery. Talked about Jenny's support. Sayri has hers as well.
Look at the concentration and focus in those eyes. It's really important that you don't give away your advantage off that tee when you're playing first. That's what happened to Sayri on the last hole.
Right down the center of the fairway, John.
That's a gorgeous golf swing. Down the hill it goes into that throat we talked about and center cut. And you can see that sets up the hole where it gives her lots of options. She can knock it by that tree or lay it up short. Watch this tree. Look at the head. Cocks the head. Beautiful takeaway. Real focus. Tremendous drive off that right leg. Look at the hips clearing. An extension through. And look at this follow through right there. Didn't get too much better than that.
Now Pak, after birdies at 3 of the last 4 holes, did bogey the last hole. Her first bogey since the 9th.
Your young players out there, whether you're a boy or girl, both these swings are really great swings.
Also center of the fairway. 2 great drives here.
Down the hill it goes. Past Jenny's ball. And let's take a look at her swing. She sets up more left. You can see a beautiful grip there, 50-50 weight, tremendous extension there. Does not lift her left heel, drives into it very, very square for a long time. And then look at this follow through.
With all that at stake here, it is amazing to watch these 2 20-year-olds perform. The playoff for the Open title. Through the first 15 of this 18-hole playoff, Jenny Shasiroporn and Sayri Pak tied at +1. Both have just hit great drives at this par 5 16th. The 20-year-old nerves of steel. And Roger, I know you're just as impressed as anyone out there watching these 2 go at it.
Well, you know, when you try to remember back what you were doing at age 20 and to picture yourself, you know, with a chance to win the National Open, yet alone be in a playoff and handle yourself this well and play this kind of golf, I just think it's more than impressive. I know, and of course I can only speak for myself, but at age 20 I was nowhere near ready to do any of this kind of stuff. So this is, I think, fabulous golf to watch.
You're just whooping it up at San Jose State, huh?
Having a big time.
This is an interesting shot because actually players want to keep it down in this little area here so they can go through that window left of the tree, I think, Roger. Don't you think so?
John, I think they're going to try to get it down further because the hole cut in the back left. They're going to try to get past that tree on the right.
There's 2 plays. You can go around the tree that way. Whoops, pardon me. You can go around through this direction, or you can go this direction.
I think the further you get it down on the right, the better angle you'd have playing your third.
Nothing bad about going down the right. If you pull it a little, you might be right under the tree.
It comes with some risk, and this shot has been missed right, headed toward the gallery.
She's giving that little look like, oh, I hope I didn't hurt anybody. And she just totally came out of this. It might have been the last thought, unfortunately. Let's watch this to see what we see wrong. Watch that left elbow. She turns that thing and see if she comes through it and pulls up out of it there. You can see that left shoulder went up and did not release. And she's saying, don't hit somebody. In college golf, you don't have to worry about creaming somebody when you clank it.
Sayre Epoch now only 223 to the front edge, John, but which I think maybe she'd be able to do downhill, downwind. But, she has elected to lay up again to the right, and I think by getting it down far enough on your second, it takes the water out of play really on your third.
Jeff Cable says perfect alignment. Go ahead and put that smooth swing on it.
Going down the right center of the fairway, and that will leave an ideal angle.
Just past a little like French drain that's in the fairway.
Smooth it is for Sayre Epoch, but yet another reaction, not the kind Jenny wanted after her second shot at the par 5 16th. Both at +1. The year 1994, Patty Sheehan had yet another line to her Hall of Fame resume, claiming her second Women's Open title in 3 years. Sheehan finished at 277, 1 stroke ahead of Tammy Green. 2 titles for the Hall of Famer Sheehan. She went through a lot of U.S. Open agony and pain before finally hoisting the coveted trophy twice. What's the situation now for Jenny on her third shot now, Roger?
Well, the ball has come to rest in between 2 large mounds, so it's on a fairly level lie. But she does have long grass laying down, and it's laying over the backside of her ball, Johnny.
I see that.
Yeah, so not going to be able to get good contact. The biggest problem is going to be controlling the ball and controlling the spin on the ball. I don't think she's going to be able to get much spin. This thing's going to tumble a long ways when it lands.
You can see the grass is leaning to the right. It's going in this direction here, which is a lot better than into her. But that could grab the hosel of that club, and if it does, it's going to sling it right over the bank and into the Sheboygan River.
That's a 109-yard shot.
You can see that. This is a very dangerous shot. So she's aiming right a little bit.
Comes out nicely. See if it'll hold. Pretty good from there, John.
Real good. She's happy about that one. She's
Very happy.
She knew that River was calling to her softly. Let's show you why it didn't have any spin. Watch when she comes into this. See where she makes contact. You can see a big swath there. That's a lot of power. A lot of power. Strong player. Doesn't have a lot of length off the tee, but her iron game has a real strength to it.
Now Pak getting some ruling help here.
Going to get relief from this French drain. It's not marked off in white, but it is definitely a French drain and of recent work that's been done to the golf course in here. So Joan Birkland,
Tom makes you give him
chairman of the Women's Committee.
Yeah, we're going to bring in David Fay to
Maybe the nearest
clarify
club might be on
this,
this other
David.
side here.
Well,
And of course, her stance is going to be between it and the ball, but then she
what
gets the club like
we have on our
probably the
local
nearest
rule
one.
sheet
she does,
language
absolutely.
dealing specifically with this French drain that only if the lie of the ball is affected. Now, there may be a judgment that this is going to be an unusual French drain and you can treat it as ground under repair, but you see, if it's only the lie of the ball, you have to drop as near as possible. But it looks like we're going to treat that particular French drain as ground under repair. Because if you're pulling out clubs, you're getting ground under repair relief.
You can see the trough that they consider that all
wants to go
part
back the
of
other
the
way on it, too. She can
serpentine
go either side she
trough
wants
that's
to.
about 12 inches wide,
Yeah.
so she's right in
Well,
it.
that's a severe one.
Yeah.
Most of the ones have been pretty well healed, and that's why we had put in language that you just lie the ball only and drop as near as possible like an embedded ball. But there's a judgment made here that this one is so severe, treated as ground under repair, which is nearest point of relief, no nearer the hole, drop within 1 club length.
Isn't the nearest point would be, you know, for stance and everything, would definitely be on this side of the tee.
That's what they're trying to ascertain.
She wants to go the other way because you got a sprinkler here, and she.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if she's affected by the sprinkler, then she would get relief from the
So she'd probably drop it within a club length of this side because that's the nearest relief, right?
Yeah.
And then if she has to redrop it for this.
Either
Yeah, let's listen.
So actually, do you want to drop it on the left side over there?
Yeah, sure she can. Put your tee a little closer to the ball there. You can, there you go.
This tee can?
That's right. Yeah, the nearest one is closer to the ball. That's good. There you go.
See what she did, she took the nearest
Oh,
point.
we can pick that ball
was
up?
a little bit to the player's right.
Drop
you can see
it there.
that
She
tee
can
she's
clean it
about
if
ready
she'd
to
like
pick
to.
up. But then she measured across, which is okay. And she can clean the ball.
Yeah, if it rolls, there's a chance where she drops it, could roll back, but maybe not. There's a beautiful little spot where she's trying to put it right there. The grass is excellent, but it's okay, just right on the top lip of it. You could see she was a little disappointed after it. It's actually, I think, a very good lie. I don't know that, but just know what you viewers see. It looks pretty good to me. Well, again, in case you've forgotten, after all of this rules explanation, this 18-hole playoff tied at +1.
You know that ball's going to go
Jasir
right to
Bourne
left up there.
just played a brilliant third shot to the back portion of the green, and now Pak getting ready for her third to this par 5.
Well, this shot is from 80 yards, and what she needs to be concerned with is a valley short and left of the hole that's rather deep. So if she gets this ball left of the hole, it has a good chance of gathering down into that low area. Needs to keep this a little right of the hole.
Solid contact, Roger.
Very solid contact, Johnny. Good looking golf shot here.
You can tell by the sound of the crowd that's a respectful clap, but not for the person they want to see who win this thing. Well, I think, Roger, when you started out calling this 18-hole playoff from the first hole, there was about 6,000. There are, what, twice as many at least now gathered around this drama?
It has swelled, but a lot of the people have headed to 18 waiting for the finale, but there is still quite a large contingent out here.
Those are the people at 18. Just a great scene below that clubhouse, which, by the way, was assembled in Montana, taken apart, delivered here to Kohler, Wisconsin, and put together again, just like a Lincoln log cabin. And really, the chalet that you come in on the right into the club is from Germany. So Mr. Kohler likes when he sees something, he will move it to his property. Well, let's check out the stats once again. Sae-Ri Pak, deadly, has missed just one fairway. Jenny has missed 4. Greens in regulation, relatively close. And Pak still with a little bit more putting strokes on the greens here, 27 to 24. So it's the stats beginning to get closer, and this match playoff couldn't be any closer at +1. Roger?
Now let's put a Jenny Jasir points now downhill slightly. We'll want to try to move right in the middle of the putt, but I believe we'll straighten up some at the hole. I think it'll quit breaking right. Maybe even come back slightly to the left. Big putt, because I think Sae-Ri Pak's got it right where you want to putt from Johnny, right up the hill.
Jenny hasn't made one for quite some time, but she's parring them since the 5th, Johnny, when she recorded 3 in the first 5 holes. That seems like a long time ago, though. It's right there, in case you can't see it.
Good looking breaking butt, but it stopped breaking right.
Solid stroke, though. Tap in for the par 5. Well, we've seen a number of reactions. Another one from Jenny. Oh, thought it was in. 20-year-old innocence. And now Sairi Pak for birdie to regain the lead. Roger?
This putt about 12 feet, just underneath the brow of the hill, so putting back uphill. I just don't think this putt does much at all. I think this is one you have to keep inside the hole.
Well, Jenny's putt was from almost the exact opposite, same line, but on the other side of the hole, and it flattened out at the hole, so that's what you're seeing, huh?
I don't see much around this hole at all. Maybe try to leak right at the end, but I just don't think it can do much if it has any speed at all. Got it just off the hole on the left, stayed right there.
So, the drama thickens even further. That left for par for Pak. She will take her time. And Mark.
And that was quite a bullet that Jenny dodged there. Wow, Roger?
Yes, it was. Because that was right where you want to putt from, John. I really thought she was going to hold that putt.
Breathing a lot easier. Going to go to the water-borne holes of 17 and 18. Both tied.
Two left.
One over par.
17 and 18 to be negotiated. First, let's talk about the par 3 17th. Jenny Shasiraporn has bogeyed at 3 out of the previous 4 rounds, and we asked her about her thoughts on that tough par 3.
The 17th green, that green is pretty firm, so you have to hit a good high shot into the green to keep it on the green. With the pin in front, you have to almost land it just on the fringe to get it to trickle up to the hole. But pin in back, it's a long iron, and over a lot of trouble on the left, and and just as much trouble on the right with the thick rough. But that just demands such an accurate shot.
Well, after playing the last 4 holes in the front 9 and 4 over, Jenny has parred every single hole on this back 9.
Well, Jenny bogeyed this hole yesterday. If you watched, you can see it right there. She hasn't had a lot of luck on it, or skill, whatever way you want to look at it. But this is not an easy hole location. Roger's way back in the center, and you have to ask yourself, just what do you want to accomplish here? Because the prudent thing would probably to hit it in this valley here, which is between 2 humps. If you can, that'd be a good spot if you want to go for the hole location. See this mound right here? It's 42 yards, 42 feet from the hole. If you hit that downslope, it'll run right through the green. You gotta be very careful there. It sets up beautifully right at that lone man on the mound. If you want to hit it, that's a really good spot to end up, Roger. Isn't it that guy that's just right?
I don't know about ending up there, but it's a good place to aim.
Well, you don't want to be past it.
This is a 6-iron.
Picked it off there, Roger. No divot. Is he going to get there?
Going a little right and short.
Sit. Sit.
Just against the long cut of primary rough. A very, very awkward little lie. But sitting up pretty good. See that grass, how tough it is, that bluegrass.
Now, Pak has had a little better success on the 17th. +1 through the first 4 rounds. 3 pars and a bogey yesterday. She had a 2-shot lead as she came to this tee and blocked it right.
Flagstick is right there.
This is a 7-iron, and this ball is drawing right at the hole.
See if it stays up. It might not. It's going down. A little bit unlucky. It might hang. It's going to hang. Not too bad. Great shot.
Well, the support continues from the gallery for both of these 20-year-olds. An amazing performance with the pressure of the United States Women's Open Championship. Tied at +1. The 18-hole playoff continues. The players at the par 3 17th, tied at +1, and Roger Maltby has had a chance to look at Jenny Chasseripourn's lie. Roger?
Not a good lie at all. It has got up against the cut of the primary rough, and it's rather thick behind her ball, so it can be very hard to make good contact.
Where does she want to land it? Right in between those swales, Roger?
I would think, John, she was going to try to pitch it about 15 feet in the air and just catch the first downslope through the valley, and that would propel the ball and get it rolling up to the back tier.
So you can see on your screen the two dark patches. There's the little downslope of the first swale, and then there's the second one. Braxton, a nice brush swing on a real firm wristed little pitch shot. The advantage of this shot, Roger, if you can land it in close to the bottom of the swale with the proper club. If you happen to hit it too easy, it hits the downslope of the swale and you knock it stiff. And then if you hit it a little too hard, it hits the upslope of the swale, and that's stiff too. So that's the ideal pitch shot if you can hit something that hits the bottom of the swale and ends up close.
She's landed it right in the bottom of that swell, Johnny. Awfully good.
Roger, when you think that shot there is quite possibly for the national championship, you just have to know what's going through these players' heart and their soul, so to speak. That is really a great shot. And you'll get to see this puddle, this marker will probably have to be moved out of Ceres' line, I would think.
They just continue to perform with immense pressure.
I think Ceres' putt needs to be just a little bit right of that mark, John. That's just a little left out of her line.
I just didn't know if you'd want to look at it, but maybe it's sort of like guideposts, having that sitting there. Say, just keep it right of that marker and you got a shot.
And this putt about 20 feet in length. First 10 feet uphill or so, and then it flattens out. Might move a little bit from right to left in the middle of the putt, but doesn't do much at all when it's on top. There's not much break overall.
How far does she have to putt it to get it up to the top of the crest?
About 10, 12 feet, John.
So it's just up in about halfway?
Just about halfway. Just over halfway.
Boy, that was a good putt, Roger.
Oh, my.
It never flattened out. If it would have flattened out, it would have gone in, but it just continued to make a smooth curve left.
And the South Korean media continuing to capture every thought, every movement of Dad on the sidelines. Can you imagine watching your 20-year-old daughter go through this as well? I would bet he's more nervous.
Well, this is an inside right edge putt, possibly right edge. Jenny has, and I wouldn't play it even on the right edge, would you, Roger?
I'd keep it in the hole, John. I don't see much slope around this hole. I think Ceres' putt just started going that direction from the middle of the putt and then never straightened up, as you said. But I don't think from this angle and from this distance that you can give away the hole.
Most 20-year-olds that are amateurs putting for the national championship would not make this, but I think she's gonna.
This to remain tied at +1 and go to the 18th hole tied.
Sure.
Very very pure.
In the heart. You think that isn't some good nerves? Woo. That was exciting. Well, as they go to 18, if tied after 18 holes, then the style does turn to sudden death. It would be the first time ever in Women's Open history that they have gone to sudden death. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, Johnny, take us down the 18th.
Well, you can see it's the longest par 4 on the golf course at 421 yards, and this bunker here is not a good place here, and of course the water left is real bad. The perfect shot is to hit it right there in between, just right of that tent, all the grandstand, and play a little draw to get a kick off of that right to left slope. You don't have to draw it. But you can see the second shot definitely favors a little bit of a draw, so that's sort of in Jenny's favor. Jenny's had great luck on this hole, and with her magical putt yesterday, who knows what might lay in store for these two great players. But it requires two excellent shots. You just can hardly par this hole if you don't hit two good ones.
Well, there has been some magic on this 18th the last couple of days for Jenny Shasiraporn, Johnny. We're going to show you that in just a moment. But look at the gallery that continues to line the fairway now all the way up to the green. What a moment.
Well, you would think, Roger, that this kind of pressure would bother anybody, and especially 20-year-olds, but they're playing good, solid golf.
Very good golf on that putt last hole. That was amazing. That was just as though it was on the putting green for a milkshake.
For another one of those UVA balls, huh?
8 straight pars for Shasiraporn on this back 9. Pak has had her birdie opportunities, has converted on 3 on this backside, but they remain tied.
This is a clutch tee shot. Anything out of the fairway here in this hole is a lot tougher, obviously. And left, of course, is in the newly made lake. Setting it up right there on the right side. She hits it right there. Is it coming back, Roger?
Coming back slightly, should be in the right side of the fairway.
Yep, there's a good one, right where she was setting up to. I thought she might turn it right to left, but she just hit as straight as can be.
Pretty cool for a girl that just finished her junior year in college.
That's good stuff. And the longer hitting Sari Pak will be hitting it more down the left side. A draw, Roger.
This ball drawing, this is a little dangerous. Gets away with it. Ooh.
Maybe. No, it isn't. It's in the hazard, actually, and it's going to be standing way below the ball, and that was absolutely a major bad swing. Let's take a look at this. She releases from the top early. Good setup, real wide stance. Look at the strong legs. She moves off the ball slightly with her head right there. Great extension. Coming back here, you can see the brace and the power in there. Beautiful. And then now she releases that left wrist right at impact. While the ball was on the face, she cupped that thing a little bit to the left and just shot a little bit of a going hook down the left side of the fairway. So that's big trouble there, Roger. Big trouble, Roger.
Johnny, she can't have any idea because that is blind from the players, and the ball appeared to bounce right, so it looked as though it was probably a very close, but she got away with it.
Well, her distance worked against her there because she ran out of fairway. If she had had the same length as Jenny off the tee, she would have actually been in fine shape, but it just kept going and ran down into that red hazard line. Watch this, good kick off the hill there, and it looks like it's going to be fine, maybe. And then down over the hill it goes, and she'll be standing way underneath the ball, maybe even her heels in the water. And the only thing she wants to chip it out sideways. It's going to be a very interesting shot.
Well, we mentioned how it has been a great hole for Jenny the past 2 rounds. She stands in good shape off the tee here again today. Let's take you back to the 3rd round, her second shot. This, the more conventional birdie produced. And on a day, though, when there were just 2 birdies all day in 18. How about that fairway medal to within 6 feet? Yesterday,
more improbable. From about 40 feet. And this to Ty Pak, who had bogeyed 17. And one of the greatest expressions you'll ever see in sport anywhere. Unbelievable.
And Jenny has hit it down the right side, which is perfect position, and then just in the opposite. Sari's ball is very close to that water on a downslope, long grass. Not sure what you can accomplish from there, Roger. The lake is not a deep lake, which is good. So
Well, John, she can wade in here. She's going to have to stand in the water, obviously, to play the shot, but I don't know that she can gain much other than advancing the ball up the fairway to the right, maybe some 70, 80 yards. I don't think because of the slope she can play at the green at all.
No, the way that slope is, it looked like you'd want to swing with parallel to the slope and hit sort of a pull hook on purpose if you can, and put it out there where you can wedge it in and maybe make a tough way par. But if you try to go more towards the hole location, then you have to swing down the slope to get to it. So that's a very dangerous to go this direction where the hole location is very difficult. Roger, has Jenny walked over and checked this out to see how big of an advantage she has?
She has not, John. She has stayed over to her ball. She's merely discussing how to play her shot and concerning herself with that.
Are people buzzing as much as I think they are right now?
There's a lot of talk around the 18th green. It's like a beehive.
That's what I mean. It's so amazing to have this situation arise and be dead even going the last hole. Now the advantage is huge in Jenny's favor with her good tee shot, but
well, getting a closer look, some help from her caddy, but you know, all that buzz created by Matt Kuchar, of course, the good performance at the Masters and the U.S. Open earlier this year, the reigning U.S. Amateur champion, he got a hero's welcome. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket did. Can you imagine what the welcoming committee would have in store for Jenny Shasiraporn, who will be a senior in the fall at Duke, if she decides to continue her college career? She says she knows she's going to be asked a lot about it.
And this is no gimme shot either. Let me tell you, she's got the ball above her feet. What was that yardage again, Roger?
189 yards. This is a 400.
And the whole location's way over here, and there's water right next to it. So if she were to slap it left, it's in the water. Is it going the other way, Roger?
This shot going at the very, very right side of the green.
Very smart shot, don't you think?
And considering where Sari Pak's ball is, yes.
I think that was really a smart shot.
Just take the water entirely out of play.
Because I tell you, you don't want to be hitting that in the water.
She may have hit it a little right from her aim, but no more than about 15 feet, I don't believe.
Pardon? Well, let's see how far we got to move it.
Again, for those who just tuned in, today was not about money. The first place money went to Sari regardless, because she's a pro, and so they've been playing for whose name's going to be on that great trophy and who is national champion, which is way more valuable than money could ever be.
It'll be Pak, who already has been guaranteed the $267,500, but Jenny Shasiraporn,
You hit it out of here,
an amateur,
something like 70 yards.
who will turn 21 years old on Thursday.
Yeah.
What an early birthday present.
It's just a matter, do you think you can get a club on it down there?
You have to take the shoe.
Well, that's all right.
And she's saying I might have to take the shoe, which is very true, but remember on a couple of holes yesterday, I thought she made poor decisions when she got out of play. And this is another one. Jeff Cable should probably tell her, get it in play. Give yourself, it's no guarantee that Jenny's going to make par with the heavy pressure from right of the green. In fact, there's a good chance she won't. So don't take yourself out of it by chunking this in the water or something where it takes you right out of the game.
75 to the hole.
You're right, Johnny. We've seen a lot of chips from that area of the green on 18 come up well short. A lot of bogeys.
A lot of bogeys, and they weren't playing for the national title either. There's the little pitch shot that Jenny has from the fringe.
If you hit it from here, you've got to get it out of here. Can you get it out?
And if I was her, I think I would hit it, but I would hit it like I said, way over to the right, which shouldn't be that tough, Roger, with the sand wedge, would it?
Back here, correct?
Well, Johnny, what I heard them talking about earlier was that if you advance it to a certain spot, you'll have 70 yards from there. So I think Jeff Cable has been trying to show her where to advance the ball to have a certain yardage.
You gonna hit it out? If you down there and decide you can't do that, we always got the other option.
Well, they have talked about both options here, Johnny.
Well, shoes off gets a pretty good indication that she's going to try to hack it down. I think the best she could do would be to advance it 80 yards or so and then leave herself a wedge.
I would agree with that assessment, Jim.
Jenny going through the card.
That way?
Well, any way you can get it out of here. I mean, all you
Again,
have to do is
yesterday
get
when
it
she
up
was in
there. I
line
mean,
for a
we can't move it
playoff.
this way. We got to go out here, tap ourselves an option.
Eating.
I'll give you a club.
Not everybody be eating at this stage and smiling. Said, hey, it's the best seat in the house.
Any way you can get that out of there. You
This
have to just go straight out towards the white thing. That's all we got to do.
This is going to be an extremely flat swing she's going to have to play on this shot, and it's hard to get a lot of power, and anything could happen here. She could totally fluff this shot, Roger, from that standing that far below the ball.
She could, John, by playing out to the right. The only thing she can accomplish is one, obviously advance it a little closer to the hole and get it over to the right side of the fairway where she'd have a much better angle to play at the hole. If she takes relief from the lateral hazard, then she has a bad angle and has to play across the length of the water coming in for her third.
She's going with an A wedge, which is just slightly weaker than a pitching wedge. And in fact, she's got a bunch of them there. She wants the
Don't
A.
drop the club. Just anywhere you can get it out of there, wherever it's easiest for you to get it out.
And you got a
All
national.
you got to do is get it in the middle of the fairway.
And the white thing that Jeff Cable was referring to, just get it out to that white thing, is the 150-yard marker. And that is seems to be a pretty prudent play at this point.
Absolutely fantastic audio you're hearing there of the sloshing around. See if she can take a level swing, make solid contact. Choking down to the metal.
She's got it out all right. Will it get down?
Rough from the other side. Rolls right up to the feet of Buzz Taylor out there.
And pull on the club.
And Tree hoists Hawk out.
Well, that was pretty interesting stuff right there. Yeah, the bottom line is they both lie two, and they're both, one's chipping, one's hitting a wedge, so it's not that huge of an advantage, to be honest with you. I mean, there's an advantage, but it's not.
I take my chances with Jenny at this point, but you never know.
I'll tell you.
Let's take another look at this lake shot.
Look how flat she swung. That was really good form. Not many players would have the knowledge to take that flat of a swing, but it actually ended up in not a very good spot. I think she hit it a lot better than she ever thought she was going to, Roger. She hit that so clean.
Yeah, and I think she also took a pretty good whack to make sure you get it out of there.
Yeah.
She's left herself now 148 yards to the hole, though, John.
So she didn't get it down as far as you thought she might, huh?
No, she played much further out to the right than I thought she might. She was trying to play at the 150. She just hit it about 30 yards too far.
So clearly, from this distance and this lie and this stance, big advantage, huh, for Jenny.
Absolutely. I think right now, if Sayre could get out of here with 5 and hope that Jenny Shashirporn didn't get it up and down would be really what she'd have to hope for now. I'm not saying she can't get this near the hole, but she's going to have to land this somewhere near the front of the green and run it back to the hole.
Well, I think the biggest problem here, Roger, is you're thinking, well, I've got to make 4 here, so you aim at the hole location. You can watch out off the side of the light and shoot it in the water again, couldn't it?
Could happen if the club turns over.
Yeah. But it's a good angle.
Hit this ball pretty good. That's quite a golf shot right there.
Giving herself a chance, Roger. And again, Shashirporn, it's no definite get down in 2 position for her.
That's for sure. Even if you're playing a practice round by yourself, you wouldn't be in the game.
What a day it's been for these 20-year-olds. Jenny Shashirporn, the amateur, and the rookie pro, Sayre Pak. What a display of golf they have put under the most intense conditions. And it still hangs in the balance as they stride up 18. You can certainly tell who's the amateur as you look at Sayre Pak walk up. The amateur wears the school colors Duke and the U.S. Women's Open 53rd edition style issued visor.
Well, it's all business now for her. You can see. Roger, got an interesting little pitch shot here.
Not dissimilar from the kind of putt she holed yesterday, really. I don't think it'll break a whole lot, John. It's coming out and landing on a downhill slope, so if you just kind of get it good contact, get it started rolling toward the hole, I don't think this is a real hard chip shot.
Tim Fincham on the left, commissioner of the PGA Tour, President George Bush in the middle, Herb Kohler, CEO of Kohler Industries. Nice power threesome out there watching this drama unfold.
That's a great shot there. Joey, your brother, doing the improbable. One little pitch shot she's hit thousands of times, but never with this kind of atmosphere.
The incredible moment yesterday on this very same green. And just after watching her all day, you just get the feeling that there's still something left.
You know, she doesn't look afraid, Roger, to me. She looks like she knows what she wants to do. She's got that mindset and the look in her eye that I can do this.
I agree with you completely, John, and all the while having fun and I think enjoying the moment.
Had definitely a tougher up and in on the last hole and pulled it off. And how's the grass laying here, Roger? Is it down grain or what is it?
It's a little down grain, John. It's, again, it's just not a tough lie to make good contact with.
Again, both Shashirporn and Pak lie 2. Actually, Pak line 3 on the surface, and this is the third shot for Jenny.
was much too hard.
So now it's a par putting contest, both for par. She knew it came out hot.
So hard to settle your nerves. It almost would have been easier for her to just walk up quickly and hit that, I think. Just there's so much time to think about it with all the things that have transpired on this hole since she hit her second shot. Just she had to wait. It almost got iced, Roger.
Yeah, this putt very similar to the putt that Sari had on this hole yesterday, John. She thought it would go left. This one may go a little left, but I don't think much around the hole.
Her birdie putt yesterday would have won it, Roger. Now this for par.
Sudden death is looking quite imminent.
It would occur, Johnny, on the 10th hole. And again, it would be the first ever sudden death playoff in Women's Open history.
It's hard to believe either one of these players, under this intense pressure, Roger, could knock this putt in. We'll see.
This might be the best 4 I ever saw if she made this putt. All things considered after driving it in the hazard. Overworked the line there and forgot to hit it.
So Jenny Shasiraporn will have a putt to win the United States Women's Open.
Got me nervous just hearing that.
This putt now should move a little bit from right to left, influenced by a little knob immediately to the right of her ball.
She likes putting on this green, Roger. Last 2 days, great things have happened.
This is the kind of putt you like, too, for a right-handed player, John. A little bit from right to left.
Again, the only other amateur to win the Women's Open, 22-year-old Frenchwoman Catherine Lacoste, 31 years ago. Shasiraporn trying to become the youngest amateur ever to win the Open. And at the same time, the youngest ever of anyone to win this championship. Can Brother Joey line one more up?
Made a clutch putt on 17. She's got that in the back of her mind. Her stroke is held up beautifully. She hasn't pushed or pulled hardly a putt that I've seen this week.
I think she hit that right where she wanted it, Johnny.
So now this descended to a sudden death at the 10th. A pair of bogeys exchanged on the 18th. They remain tied now at +2, and we've made history all week, so why not make some more? For the first time in the United States Women's Open Championship history, we go to sudden death. 90 holes, not yet enough to decide it. A pair of 73s. And this is how close Jenny Shasiraporn came to winning the Open. And the Shasiraporn clan watching on the sidelines. That'll tip you right back over. Back for sudden death. Black Wolf Run Golf Course for the 91st hole of the 53rd Women's Open. Well, there are the 18-hole combatants. Sayri Pak and Jenny Shasiraporn looking over the cards, both turning in 73s for the first 18 holes. So they are tied at +2 as they get ready to go back out to the golf course, the par 5 10th. And again, just the very first sudden death playoff in U.S. Women's Open history. How did it all unfold? This 18 holes today here at Black Wolf Run Golf Course. Well, Jenny Shasiraporn, what a start she had. Very first hole, following the birdie at 18 yesterday, producing more drama at the par 4, chipping to go 1 under. She wasn't through. Very next hole, par 5 second, another birdie, a birdie start. And Jenny and Joey were off running at 2 under. And then the birdie putt at 5, her third in the first 5 holes to open up a 4-stroke lead as younger brother Jimmy and Mom looked on. Then at the 6th, the first miscue of the day. She went on to triple bogey the 6th and have her lead dwindle to just a single shot. Sayri Pak had no trouble hitting fairways, did have some problems on the putting surface for par. Missed it, fell 2 back, and then at the 9th, that par putt, missed it, shot a 38, but remained 2 back after Shasiraporn bogeyed the 9th as well. Then at the 11th, Pak for birdie. And that would be her first of the round, and it curled in to cut the lead to 1. Very next hole as Pak's putting blade began to heat up. That to tie Shasiraporn at +1. And then at 14, the short par 4, Pak's second.
Down. Stop, please. Stop.
She would go on to birdie that for her third birdie in 4 holes to take the lead for the first time in this 18-hole playoff. On to 15. Pak for par. Misses him, and they fell back into a tie at +1. And then Jenny Shasiraporn, this crucial par-saving putt on the difficult par 3 17. Her 8th consecutive par on the back nine. And then the critical miscue by Sayri Pak on the tee at the par 4 18. 421-yard hole. Wound up inside the hazard, and after much discussion, decided to play this shot safely. It did roll through the fairway, but she ended up making bogey. And after getting knocked out, Shasiraporn had a par putt on 18 to win the championship. Just that close. So this now sudden death playoff continues from Kohler, Wisconsin. Stay tuned. So they will start this sudden death playoff, Johnny, on the par 5 10th, longest hole in women's major championship history.
And it's a good one. It really is. A par can be an excellent score. You can see it off the tee. The Sheboygan River's on the left, so that same tee shot Pak hit on 18 would be big trouble right here. It's fairly narrow between the bunker and the river and the trees left. You drive it right here where we're at right now. You got to fit it into this little area here. Either lay it in short, those 2 bunkers, or this bunker they're coming up on the left can really come into play, and there's mounds and everything there. If you can keep it to the right and a wedge into the green, you can see the green's canted a little bit to the left. And the whole location today is on 31. You can see 31 pretty much in the middle of the green near the back. So you have to hit 3 good shots here in this big par 5.
So they are on the tee.
at this par 5 10th. And we assume that Roger Maltby has
Made his way out there as well. Roger,
we thought we saw electricity earlier. What are you feeling out there now?
Well, I'm seeing a mass of humanity come from the 18th hole trying to get a vantage here at number 10. Players have made their way to the tee. President Bush right behind the tee, the best seat in the house.
And why shouldn't he have it?
David Fay, on the PGA Tour, and usually pick a number or you flip a coin, but what happens here?
Well, our policy is that we'll just take whoever had the honor last, and Shashirapon earned that on the 15th hole.
Okay. Here we go. Sudden death. It's a really important tee shot. It's a lot like 18 was. Another key tee shot. You see getting the hand, the vapor off the hand.
Tee shot going down the left-hand side of the fairway, flirting with trouble. Gets a good straight hop. It's okay. Ooh, a nervous-looking tee shot there.
Got a lot of run too, Roger. She's saying, yeah, just snuck it in there.
So after the 18-hole playoff with the stroke play mentality, Johnny, is this more of a match play? You win the hole and you win the championship.
Yeah, whole new ball game now. She says she doesn't get nervous. I don't know if she can wipe out the tee shot that's stirring around in her head that she just hit a minute ago.
Great drive.
Oh, this is a terrific tee shot. Started at the right center, turning over. Fabulous tee shot.
Pressure continues to build, and these two 20-year-old cool collegiate players, Shashirapon, a professional Pak. Jenny's barely in the fairway again. Back in a moment. The biggest prize in women's golf remains in the balance. After the 18-hole playoff, we are now in a sudden death variety, which just began at the par 5 10th. Jenny Shashirapon, 20-year-old Duke senior-to-be, and Sairi Pak, one of the rising stars on the LPGA Tour. Both shot 73 in the 18-hole playoff, so now we're at the 10th, both in the fairway at the par 5.
Roger's down there. Perfect position. Those hillocks that you see there is a bunker in there. You have to be real careful about clearing that and then putting it in position just over that towards the green. Leave yourself a nice wedge to this back center hole location.
Well, they've both driven far enough, John, that I don't believe those hillocks are really in play. If they want to advance down the right side, I don't think they have much more than about 185 yards to carry those hillocks. Sairi Pak will be first to play. In the area of 290 to the hole, but again, just trying to get down in position where you can have a comfortable wedge distance for the third.
Not that easy a layup, is it? I mean, it's not a gimme with that little bit of serpentine to it, you know what I'm saying?
And it's a 3-iron going up the right center. Good shape.
Okay, cleared it all. Should be perfect up there.
Yep, birdie opportunity there. Well, Jenny, Shashirapon. She going with Roger?
I believe she's going to go with the 5-wood here, John. That's 285 to the hole. She get down there close to a couple 100 yards, then she'll have nothing more than a good solid sand iron in. I think that would be ideal.
Perfect.
Right down the center of the fairway. Considerably farther than Sairi Pak.
Just one pressure shot after another and playing their 91st hole of the championship, Johnny Miller, and no Women's Open championship has ever gone this far. And you want to put it in perspective about how rare sudden death playoffs are in the national championship. Only twice before has the men's U.S. Open gone to sudden death, and of course that was back in 1990 when Hale Irwin beat Mike Donald on the 19th hole, in 94 when Ernie Els won a three-man playoff, finally beating Lauren Roberts. But uncharted territory here.
It is, a couple 20-year-olds, so we've seen some great action. Jenny had a wonderful opportunity on 18 there, just right of the green and the light cut to just funnel it down there inside 5 feet and make the putt, and she got a little bit nervous and blew that chip by, and so she had a very, very good, clear chance to win the national championship. So if she were to lose this, she'll probably look towards that chip as the one.
And on the other hand, Sairi Pak, after playing, there was all that decision-making going on in the hazard off to the side of 18, kept her cool, kept her focused, which has been her motto all week long, produced the bogey she needed to produce to force it to the 10th.
She did. The third shot, the second one was good, but the third shot really showed Jenny that, hey, I'm going to make a 4 or 5. Let's see if you can get it up and in. And it was just a little bit too much for Jenny.
Well, we talked about the tail of the tape before the 18-hole playoff started. That was fairly even. Let's check out the stats after the 18 playoff holes. And again, Pak, the advantage, fairways hit, greens in regulation, fairly close. And Pak has taken 4 more putts than Shasiraporn. Roger Maltby.
A perfect lie in the center of the fairway. Sairi Pak has 103 yards to the hole, but she'll have to fly the ball on top of the rear plateau and hold it there.
I think one of these players is going to knock it close, Roger.
It's a good-looking shot. A lot of spin there.
Is Jenny's pitch shot a difficult one, Roger, for how short it is?
John, what I like about this, it's 62 yards to the hole. She's gotten so far down here that she can play some kind of a low pitch shot and run it down through that valley and let it release back up to the rear plateau. She doesn't have to try to fly it up there. I think she can use the slope in her favor here. I wouldn't necessarily call it an easy pitch, but I think as far as getting the ball to that back level and stopping it, I think certainly the shorter the shot you have coming in here, the better off you are.
The one thing that she has done is she's really slowed down her pace of play, which I can understand it, the importance of it, but you don't want to change your normal cadence. You got to be careful. But she's going to check this out every inch of it to make sure she knows her landing point, that what Roger is alluding to, knowing that right at the bottom of that swale where she is now is where she might want to land it, one hop up into the bank and trickle.
Yeah, if she could land it right down near the base of that valley, John, I think that would be the ideal.
Yeah, she's got it walked off right to the yard. She knows exactly what she needs to do. Straightforward pitch shot. Now it's a case of handling your nerves.
She's done a great job handling all week. And again, Shasiraporn's watching every shot.
She's checking the wind.
Checking wind like he could perhaps provide some last-second advice.
Mental telepathy.
Third shot.
Just landed it way too far short, John.
Is it going to come back or not?
It won't come back much, but that's left a good 30 to 35 feet short of the hole. That's not well played at all from there.
You're right, Roger. That was a big opportunity.
Did not make that nice, solid blow at impact. It had a sort of a funny sound. Scooped it. So, No advantage either way here, I guess.
Well, certainly the more makeable of the two putts, I think, is Se-Ri Pak's attempt.
She's inside, Jenny also?
Oh, yes, by quite a little bit.
Well, another history lesson in case you just joined us. The last player to win 2 majors in a season, Laura Davies in '96. Last rookie to win 2 majors, Julie Inkster in '84. The last rookie to win the Open, Lisa Lott Neumann. All of that history in the balance, but Se-Ri Pak would be alone at the top of that historic list of having the distinction to be the youngest woman ever to win 2 majors in the same year. Again, she's already captured the LPGA Championship in May and has been trying to finish off this Duke senior to be Jenny Shasiraporn, who will not go away, and in fact had a putt to win this championship on the 18th.
Roger, you have the line?
Well, this putt almost identical to a putt that Se-Ri Pak had here earlier today. Uphill. And then there's another little muffin once it gets up on top that it has to contend with. Should move from right to left some. Putt just over 30 feet in length. Not a real makeable looking putt, John.
Well, either was the one at 18 yesterday, was it, Raj?
Well, that's true. That's why they make the hole bigger than the ball, don't they? Just about exactly how Se-Ri Pak handled that putt earlier.
Still not in by any means for par. Now Se-Ri Pak has this putt to win the championship for birdie.
Now this putt back uphill. Should be influenced a little bit left to right.
Be interesting to see if she can get this to the hole, Roger.
Well, this is a slow putt, John. This is back uphill. And again, putting away from the Sheboygan River, as you talked about earlier.
There's some grain back there in the back of that green that she's going to be putting into, and I just don't know if she's factoring that in. You know, like you say, the fall towards the river.
Really a good effort there.
Dad agrees. Had some varying reactions from the respective fathers the last couple of moments.
I feel for him, I really do. I mean, this is excruciating. I mean, I know what it's like watching my kids, and I haven't seen him putt for a national championship.
Look who's flat on his back now, Jimmy. Dad earlier took a back seat. Well, this a big putt. Has to have it. Putt within definite par range. And got it.
Poor Dad.
Oh,
he's going, oh my gosh.
Well, after Pak strokes this in, we believe they will be on their way to the 11th. 91 holes, still not enough. They exchange par 5s at the 10th, and on their way again to the par 4 11th. You set it up earlier, Johnny. Let's set it up again.
It's a good par 4, just 374 yards, but going a little away from the river uphill. You can see the trees on the left with the shadowing. Those are definitely in play. You can see down the right side a lot of hillocks, and it's a fairly narrow fairway. If you can drive it in the fairway, you can see the second shot also sets up for a nice high fade, which will definitely work in Saree's favor. So the pin placement is in the back center, and you can see a nice flat area to putt and a birdie opportunity if you can drive it in the fairway.
Well, if Pak made birdie on this hole earlier, it was her first birdie of the day, and there it was.
She did outside left. It looked like it might lip out, but it had good speed.
At the start of a 3-birdie stretch in 4 holes for Pak. Now on the tee, Shasiraporn. Roger?
Well, drove wildly right here before and got away with it.
Setting up right there.
Has started this ball well right, but big draw back into the center of the fairway. Big looping hook there, John. I think she might have got that on the toe or something.
It was a good swing. It was just, say she was aiming down the right rough, teed it up real high that time, which can help you draw it more. Look at the wind up, great hip action there. And then the little cup of the left wrist right at impact. You could see her cupping that wrist and flipping it back to the center.
Just another wonderful tee shot, going just left to center.
Well, Pak and Shasiraporn for the moment exchanging shot for shot. If this keeps up, maybe Bangkok Palace, the Shasiraporn Thai restaurant, might not be opening on time tomorrow. Well, they teed off at 11 o'clock in the morning local time. Now approaching 3:45 local time, so getting close to a 5-hour marathon, especially a marathon. You consider that the only 2 golfers on the course, Jenny Shasiraporn and Saree Pak, now on the 2nd hole of sudden death after exchanging par 5s at the 10th. Now playing the par 4 11th. Roger?
Well, Saree Pak has caught a bit of an old fairway divot down the left-hand side of the fairway, so the more difficult of the 2 lies. Jenny Shasiraporn has 131 yards to the hole, so a little bit of an advantage here for her if she can hit one in there close.
You surprised all of a sudden Jenny, who has been averaging 22 yards shorter per drive, is all of a sudden out driving Saree?
Well, didn't quite outdrive her, but I think a little pumped up maybe. But this was a hot slinging hook, John. This one really ran a long ways. This is a 9-iron. It's a nice looking shot if it's the right distance.
Saree Pak now, her 2nd.
It's from 128, just a matter of making good contact. Divot's really kind of half-healed, but still the best of lies, ball slightly below her feet.
You see that grass into the green also, which isn't the easiest.
Seemed to make good contact, and another good-looking golf shot here.
Drifts away a little farther than Jenny's, but neither Pak or Shasiraporn showing any signs of cracking.
Let's take a look at this swing by Saree. Tough shot, like I said, into the grain and a partial old divot. Watch the good footwork there and watch the contact. Ball, then divot. Perfect.
92nd hole of the United States Women's Open Championship. Back for the birdie putts in a moment. First ever sudden death playoff in U.S. Women's Open history. Who is away, Roger, on this par 4 11th?
Well, these two balls about equidistant from the hole, so now the caddies are taking a look, trying to see if they can ascertain. Joan Birkland, chairman of the Women's Committee, will come out and make that determination, I think. And has determined that Jenny Shishiraporn is away. And Jenny has certainly the tougher of the two putts. This putt a little downhill on the quick side. Should try to move a little bit left or right. Sayree Pak, on the other hand, has a putt back uphill, one that she can be very aggressive with. Looks very inviting. Looks like it doesn't have much break in it at all. So I think Jenny might need this one.
It's tough to make birdie though, Roger, with all this pressure. It seems like to me it might be the first one that makes bogey. But we'll see.
She's hit this very firmly. Work left there.
Yeah, it's a bit of an opening psychologically to Sayree, because she figures, well, maybe I don't have to make this because Jenny might miss it coming back, and you can see she's going, oh, what did I do that for?
So, once again, Sayree Pak will have a putt to win the championship.
It's a lonely feeling when you sit there waiting to see if someone is going to take it away from you. You usually want to be obviously putting for it, not waiting to see what happens.
Well, she survived the previous hole as Pak had a birdie putt at the par 5 10th, looking to dodge another bullet here and continue this sudden death.
Where do you think she'll play this, Roger? Pretty straight?
Pretty straight putt, John. May try to eke a little right, but I don't think much at all.
And there it is! Stoic, focused, concentrated, and finally, after the birdie runs in to win it, a flood of emotions. She's the youngest woman ever to win 2 majors in the same year, and now has the distinction of being the youngest Women's Open champion ever. On the other side in defeat, Jenny Shishiraporn still with a smile. Wow. Let's go down to Roger Maltby. Raj.
Thank you, Dan. With the two combatants today, and it was a beautifully played playoff. Jenny, you got up early in the match, but it seemed like Sayree just kept hitting good shot after good shot after good shot the rest of the way.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, she's a great player. She's, made a lot of birdies coming down the stretch. I just tried to hang in there, and, make par was my friend, so I was trying to make a lot of pars, and, that's how it goes. I mean, this was a great experience. I mean, more than I ever expected coming into this. So. Congratulations.
Well, I know that you said par was your friend, and you kept making pars on the backside, par after par after par. But Sayree kept the pressure up. You have to be thrilled. Certainly, with this kind of performance at age 20 as an amateur, it had to be more than you could possibly expect from yourself. And I would think with the upcoming Curtis Cup matches, you must just be excited about your prospects.
Oh yes, this is just more than I could ask for. Thanks.
Congratulations on your performance, Sayree. Second major championship of the year, and you fell behind early, but you stayed in there. You hit good shot after good shot after good shot. It seemed for the longest time your putter wouldn't help you out, but finally you made a couple of big putts in the backside, and that last hole, my goodness, what an ordeal that was. Can you tell us what you're feeling right now?
I don't know, I feel like, wow, I don't know how to feel, I cannot talk, but I'm really happy. Then she's a really great player. That's why I play, I don't know, this is the first time I play with amateur here, but she's a really great player. Then first front nine, every time I just lose, like behind her, but I didn't give up, just I did my best. Just I didn't think I had the win, just I did my best. I want to just play, just keep going my games. That's what I play with today.
Well, tell us about the 18th hole. After you drive the ball into the hazard, and then, gee, well, do I drop out? Do I try to go forward? What do I do? What were you trying to accomplish with your second shot?
Yeah, that time I really dropped into the water, but I have little chance, was not into the water, little laugh in there. So I make anyway, almost finished the last hole. I have chance, so just my many thinking, then when I just check again, checking again and again. And now just last hole, I don't have chance anymore. That's why I just play, just keep going to my game. That's why that hole is a lucky hole for me. That's why I win this tournament.
Well, I'm going to ask you one more time. Never nervous today?
No, never. Just
come on.
Sure, but last hole like that. But last hole into the water. But that time really upset. Almost last hole chance hole, but I into the water. But that time little obvious. I don't know how to make into the water. I don't know how to get out there. So that time little obvious. But anyway, just today I play my games. I'm very happy. So I win. Really, really happy.
Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations on your first Open Championship. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Roger, and what a privilege it was, Johnny, to watch these two 20-year-olds go at it. One final look at the birdie putt that won it on the second hole of sudden death.
Out of the divot on the second shot, right over the top of the hole, and really hit a great putt there, no doubt about it.
All day long, grinding down and finally able to celebrate after 92 holes. Sayree Pak and her father celebrate the win. For all of us at ESPN, I'm Dan Hicks. So long from Kohler.